I rise to speak to the motion moved by Mr Grimley. The opposition have been pushing for an informal reporting option for victims of sexual assault for quite some time. To implement a flexible and informal reporting option for victim survivors of sexual assault is in fact one of the policies of the Liberal Nationals should we get into government, as announced in April last year. For many women and girls, being a victim of sexual assault brings a lot of shame. The element of fear does not disappear after the assault itself. It lingers. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics 2016 survey, 1 in 5 Australian women and 1 in 20 men have experienced sexual assault since the age of 15. Most of these assaults occur in private spaces, behind closed doors, without witnesses. Not only does this make sexual assaults difficult to prosecute, but it also makes victims fearful of being believed. The figures reflect that almost 9 in 10 women, 87%, do not contact police after being sexually assaulted. Many are worried that their experience won't be taken seriously or that they'll be labelled a liar. As I was saying before the break, 80% of women do not contact police after being sexually assaulted, and many are worried that their experience won't be taken seriously or that they'll be labelled a liar. They worry that they will face repercussions and that they worry that the justice system won't hold the perpetrator to account. There are many things that go through the minds of victims of sexual assault. If we had an easily accessible online reporting system, victims might feel more comfortable reporting what has happened to them. An alternative reporting option would allow victims to pull out their phones or laptops and make a complaint without the trauma of going to the police station to make a formal report. As it stands, Victoria is the only jurisdiction in the country without a structured formal reporting option for incidents of sexual assault. New South Wales has SARO, which is the Sexual Assault Reporting Option. This was a joint initiative of the New South Wales Police and sexual consent advocate Chantal Contos. The New South Wales system is a web page that encourages victim survivors to make a formal report, but also gives other options. It allows them to complete a sexual assault questionnaire where they can easily handwrite or type their answers and mail or email it to the Child Abuse and Sex Crime Squad at State Crime Command. They can choose to provide their details or report anonymously. Victim survivors are reminded that this second option is not a formal complaint to police to initiate a criminal investigation. Instead, the information is gathered and may be used to help police develop strategies to target offenders, protect the community and reduce repeat offending. It may also be useful in prosecutions. The details provided on the questionnaire are recorded on a secure and restricted New South Wales Police database, and completed questionnaires are kept securely at the office of the Child Abuse and Sex Crime Squad. The instructions are empathetic and they are drafted in a way that lets those who access the website feel empowered. The wording acknowledges the difficulty in completing the report and the need to recall detail and recommends speaking to a counsellor or a trusted person for helpful strategies if the process becomes traumatic. If nothing comes of it, at the very least there is a record of what happened. It can be used for future investigations. The SARO initiative aims to empower victim survivors to establish a record of what occurred, act as a therapeutic tool and increase police intelligence to better inform crime prevention strategies. It also allows more data to be collected on perpetrators committing these crimes, shows any patterns and highlights recidivist offenders. It is not uncommon for victim survivors to wait an extended period of time before reporting sexual assault. This is sadly often used against them in court. Defence counsel commonly ask, if this really happened, why did you wait so long to report it? If we had an easily accessible reporting system, one that did not involve going to police station, people would have the opportunity to report details early. These early reports could be used as an effective piece of evidence in the future, no matter how many years pass before the victim survivor is comfortable taking action. Victoria, of course, did have a version of SARO. It was known as SARA and stood for Sexual Assault Reporting Anonymously. It was an app set up after the devastating murder of a Victorian woman in 2012. After it came to light, other women had complained about the perpetrator via social media, but no formal complaints had been made. This system was a great start, but it was unfortunately scrapped in 2020 due to insufficient funding at the hands of the Andrews Labor government. It is unfortunate that the system went to waste, particularly given that it is having an impact in New South Wales. Informal reporting of sexual assault in New South Wales has risen 43% since Operation Vest launched in mid-March last year. Operation Vest was an introduction to SARO that aimed to empower people to speak up and make use of the platform. Since February last year, sexual assault reporting in general has been up by 54%. There are some great lessons to learn from other models. The campaigning and the messaging around the reporting platform when it was introduced is key if we want to empower victim survivors to make use of the platform and feel comfortable reporting their experiences. The New South Wales model is undergoing improvements, including modernising the system, and I understand this is not a model system or best practice, but we should be looking we should definitely not be looking at to replicate it entirely. However, we need to look at other systems in place to learn from them and take the best practice elements. There is no doubt this reporting system is wanted, but exactly how we go about creating the best system possible for the community to use is something we need to flesh out properly. There are so many questions. Who will be responsible for the site or application? How will it be resourced? What will the process be when a complaint is received? Can these documents be subpoenaed or used in court? And will this limit victim survivors' use of the system? What is the process for police in following up these reports if the victim does not wish to take any action or is fearful? What about vexatious complaints? There are so many questions, but I'm confident we can work together. We can work together to come to a conclusion around how we can implement a system that will empower more people to come forward in a way they are comfortable. The best way to flesh out these issues is to consult through an Engage Victoria consultation and roundtable, where stakeholders can provide information that can be used to develop the evidence-based alternative reporting option that Victorians deserve. I commend this motion.